Well, babies, wow. What a wild ride this time around, huh? Holy cow. Been intense these last few days. Here it is, 4th of March already, man, you know. Time flying by, ain't it? And we're still moving that ascended path, that ascended trail. It's your old Grandpa Coyote, baby. It's coming back to you, just in case you don't recognize the hairy old face. But we're creating some real interesting energy in the middle of the night, helping this transcendent process right along all by its little old self. You know, I've talked about the blue-green wave coming in. Last night we got to talking about a rainbow wave we were creating, because that's the full essence of life. That's the healing energy plus the passions that go with it, you know. That's the real humanity coming in on us now, plus the protective energies for the innocent. The more innocent we become, the more protected we become now in this existential reality we call life. You understand? In other words, the more we're able to reach inside and open our true heart consciousness, get past that little bit of pain inside and go right to the heart and go right to the center of the heart and nurture forward that energy that resides there. I don't know how else to describe it, babies. You know what I'm saying, because I know you feel it right now. It goes with the turf. That's how the energy is. That's how the life rides right now. So I mentioned it. You're getting it. This is the way it works. You know, if you're the least bit sensitive, and if you're not, well, babies, just do, you know, find some of these tapes on here that have the videos that have some of the communicating practices on there. That'll give you the idea. Just get yourself into a good space. The main thing is to relax in nature as much as you can. And when you can't get to nature, because like obviously here it's winter still, we do a lot of indoor, but just get yourself some quiet time, some private time, and spend some time. And don't let your thoughts take you away. When the thoughts and thinking start, you know, going that way, just bring yourself right back here. Stay right smack in the center of yourself. This is centering when you can focus on this from inside, this third eye as we call it. This is centering when you focus on the heart. This is centering when you feel the energy in the palms of your hands, you see. It starts a flow. It acknowledges a flow. It brings you more into consciousness of what's really happening here. You see, the life we live ain't at all the reality we live in. You see, it's superficial. It has a matrix edge to it, an elusive quality. You understand? The real meaning is in the deeper places in life. The real life is in those deeper places, in the deeper ways. And that's why I encourage people to go inside. And as you feel this opening, you will learn. As you're becoming more peaceful in yourself, you will learn to guide your energies outward so that we can deal with some of these disasters that are seem like impending doom. Babies, they're incredible opportunities for opening. They're the exact opposite. They're not the end of everything. They're beginning of something really special and spectacular. So if you can reach out in graciousness from your heart and touch these things with your life, I'm talking about radiation in the atmosphere, in the oceans, any kind of poisonous toxins we may be dealing with, especially in the atmosphere, we can neutralize those simply by sending that loving energy and asking that all be for the higher good. You know, it brings everything into conformity, because that's where it is anyway. But this just realigns our perspective of it so that we can realize that and not have to die from any abject circumstances that seem to be active at the moment. And then we get into the creative resource of self, which we're already using in moments like that, and we begin to recreate it all. We redream it. There's a thing called dreaming. You do a little of this in your sleep hours, sometimes in your wake hours if you're sensitive and awakening, but most of you in your sleep hours, you dream into yourself into the next day's worth of living, things like that, you know. We have in our dreams, in our innocent dreams, the ability through love to recreate everything. And that's essentially what we're doing with this planetary ascension. But again, I point out to you, it's a very personal thing, you know, and it comes right down to you. It's not about everything that's going on around you. It's about what's going on inside of you. The more peace you manage to acquire there, the better it is for everyone. And as this heart energy, as I mentioned, expands outward through your chest and into the rest of your being, man, it begins to affect and influence all of the energies around you. It don't matter what they are. They don't, not just human, but every energy that lives around you. And you become yourself a little more conscious of the active flow in your life, how all things are working together to propel you forward, and how you're also, in the same context, working together with many other forms of life to bring others forward. We're all in this active and together, whether we know it or not. Yeah, a lot of it's subconscious, but the more you rise in this consciousness, the more you allow the feeling of opening to come through you, the better it is for yourself and everyone else. You will lose the illnesses that are holding you back, the restrictions. They will dissolve. Put a little energy to them, you know. We all deal with our bits of difficulty in this life. We all have our remaining flaws. No matter how freaking enlightened we may think we are, we're still no better off than the lowest person on the totem pole here. You know what I mean? We still have them same guttural feelings. We still have those same emotions to deal with. So let your heart lead you as these more or less darker things come up. And you'll begin to find the bright side of everything. And you begin to do as I do and look back on your life and smile and be content. And no, you don't have to go anymore. Go there anymore. That's what makes it really special. Because you know it's over. That part of it, that anguishing aspect. You may be in the final throes of it right now. You know, a lot of people, and I mean tons of you, are going through what we'd call relationship difficulties. The old way, the old romance, don't you see what that game is? And why it doesn't work? And why it has to go out the window? The one-on-one thing, the hiding away of your energies, even if you get real expansive in that little hiding away, it's still kind of restrictive to your person. And then, you know, everybody winds up in some kind of a dull routine, no matter how great and passionate it is in the beginning. Everybody winds up in some kind of a dull routine. Well, it may not be dull, but for most folks it is. You wind up in some kind of routine that just becomes your life. You find these little comfort zones, and they're really death zones. Because you find a place where you can manage, you know. You get in that. Well, those zones are going away now anyway. That's why there's so much freaking out and a little bit of panic here and there, and why you're seeing a lot of psychotic behavior on the streets. Not everybody is ready for this. So in the middle of the night, we keep conveying these calming energies right along with the transformative ones to help everyone get it right. Because it's best to reach them while they're sleeping. So we do this little rock and roll medicine show on Hazy Radio Network on the internet here. I'm sure it'll soon be back on the airwaves in some form or another, because they can't resist. But anyway, in the meantime, we're doing this thing at night, and there's just a handful of us working together through this little rock and roll medicine show in the middle of the night, helping us get things right, man. And so we're bringing forth this handful of people and I, well, it's actually a little more than that, across the face of the earth. We're in every location you can dream of. There's at least one somewhere, everywhere you go, man, of this, well, let's call them the love radiators. They're an essential family that's been around since the beginning of time as soul presences, and they have worked through all of the dynamics of humanity. They've shared energies at different points here and there along the way, and changed lives, changed the flow of history, and brought us to where we are now. So this is our ancestors' message too, because a lot of times we are our own ancestors. You know, that soul presence that comprises us now was active in another life as a different kind of soul presence. It's not the same person you are now, but it's your soul presence. It's your experiential reality, and it's been in many lifetimes, you know, for most of us. Now, some only have 1, 2, 3, but most folks been through a lot of them. And this essential crew I'm talking about, that's held the energy really every lifetime they've come here, no matter how abject and rough it was on them personally. Their essential mission was really just to stay alive, convey a few certain energies at an essential moment, and be on their way. And they've done it again and again and again. And our ancestors, all of them, have done this too. Every person that lives does. You fulfill certain aspects of the need for the creation to experience. So you go through your personal aspects, but at the same time the whole universe is right there with you, experiencing what you do in any given moment in time. That's how I can say the universe is inside of you, because it knows you. It is you. And you are this universe. Don't you feel the familiarity? It's like running into an old lover for the first time. Like you've never met him before, but you slept together for 30 years or something. You know what I mean? It's always coyote medicine, babies. It's always got that little irony to it. That little bit of cosmic illusionary trickery. You know what I mean? But it's as kind and soft and gentle as the gentle spring misty rains. You know, it's warm and comforting, just like they are. You know what I mean? In certain areas of the country, anyway, or the world. But anyway, it's like that. It just pours down on you in a very smooth way. And pretty soon you're soaked in love and don't even hardly know where it came from. But all of a sudden you're living a life of delight, and everything's all right. This is how we straighten out all the essential problems in the world. And yeah, it does come down to male and female. Of course, that's where the difficulty begins. We've gotten all out of kilter. Our emotions have been tampered with. Our behaviors have been tampered with. We've been in some pretty ruggedy places and really done some mean things to one another in the name of love. It's crazy, I know, but we had to contain it somehow. What we have here, you know, in the form of marriage and all the hell that it creates, etc., and religion and government and all that, is a means to restrict the energies a bit so they didn't get too out of hand, like they did way back in the beginning when those passions first came into humans. Holy cow, it was a mess. So we organized structures similar to what we have now, not the same, because obviously they morph as time goes on. They change. They become something different. And that's exactly what's going on now, only in a much huger way. Because we're finally outgrown the need for all these silly little restrictions we put in our lives that in its own way has created hell and misery for everyone. But it's a way of keeping that hell and misery at a certain level, so it doesn't get any worse. It doesn't compel you into murderous acts, for example. You know, it's less likely to happen through these organized ways, through the legends of romance and so forth. You know, it's kept us going. It's kept us looking for this ideal. It's given us something to feed on, love-wise. It's, you know, it's kept that love alive throughout all these generations. So for all of the darkness, the generations want you to know that you are the light, and that whatever darkness we've been through was there for experiential purposes, and we've done our duty with it, and you can release it, let it go with love at any time you wish to. Your experience with the darkness essentially is over. And what this means is you don't kick it out of yourself. You don't throw it away in the world. It conforms as you conform. As you come back together inside of yourself, as all of your parts find themselves collecting in divine harmony. And that includes what you've seen as your darker parts. You just stay loving towards those parts. Bring them in. That doesn't mean you agree with anything. You don't act on the behaviors, etc. You just bring it into this heart in a loving way. It's a lot less difficult because we've done some major work in the past week or two. I've been a busy little critter. That's why you haven't seen me too much on YouTube. It's this radio show's really been taking up my time. I do it 6 nights a week, 5 hours a night. And then there's all the prep time and the gathering music and, you know, all the other stuff. I'm way behind on my website. I'm a hippie. I'll get there when I get there. I'm not too worried about it. But, oh, man. It's been keeping me busy, but I'll try to be a little better with you guys on my YouTube channel here because I love you so much, and you've been so greatly supportive of these energies and of the transformation, the ascension inside of yourself, and you responded well for the most part. And babies, you know, we, the spirits, the angels, and I, Star Fam, just can't thank you enough and remind you that we're all in this together. And this is why the amount of effort required on your part is going to get less, not more, because your heart is empowering others to take up some of the work for you. You're getting a secretary and a treasurer and an accountant and a court clown, you know, everything you need to make it right. It'll fall into place, you know. You just let it happen. But you don't go outside looking for it. You go inside and allow yourself to grow in this deeply dynamic love, which is far different than what we've known of as romantic love. That's an element of it, a small element to boot, you know. Though it can develop, as this ripens, it can develop into something really spectacular. The stuff that we've always dreamt of course, becomes our reality because that's what we reward ourselves with. And I'm not talking about tawdry sex and all of that kind of thing. I'm talking about real love being expressed in very intimate ways all throughout society, so that everyone gets along. There is complete peace. Not only do we get along, we aid and comfort and provide for one another. That's our normal inclination. That's what we do in this commercial world anyway. We just ask to get paid for it. It's kind of silly, you know what I mean? But it won't be long for things like economy and money are dissolving away, because as we rise into our creative essence, as we remember how it is to dream and create in those dreams, then all of our essential needs are fulfilled. There are no real needs anymore. We just, you know, we're habitated wherever we go. We have everything we need to satiate any hunger we may have, etc. You know, that's the normal state of humanity. That's the state we've, quote, quote, fallen away from. We never fell anywhere. We made an active choice to be here because we needed to be in this dark place for a while. We needed to ripen ourselves. We needed to know the ruggedy side. We needed the pain to ripen this. We needed to know isolation, aloneness, the inability to communicate with those around you. All of these things, all of the aspects of your experience you've gone through is divinely needed by the rest of the universe, or you would not be here living it. You are human angels. Angels have a human experience. Each one of you is brilliant in your own regard and right. You've been forced to let it all go when you come into this world and accept a really dumbed down state as your normal state of being. And that's why you grow up with all these prejudices and behaviors that are so obnoxious and abnormal. It's just cultural conditioning, but it's more than that. It's a spiritual aspect. It's a point of view, and it's hammered into you like a punch through a piece of leather, you know, pretty routinely in most segments of society throughout this world. So that you give up your essential life, it goes inside and hides and waits for the time when it feels welcome here. Well, when I'm advising you to go into your heart and find that specter of light, that baby that resides there, and embrace it and bring it forward, that's exactly what we're up to. We're reawakening everything inside of ourselves, and as we do, there is a simultaneous occurrence in the world around us, because we're all so naturally intertwined. This is why our romantic areas will change so drastically. No more of this obsessional stuff. You're mine, I'm yours, we'll be forever. Oh my God! You know, that's a beautiful thing, but it's a lie. It's an untruth. It doesn't work that way anyway. It does this way. But see, the need and the necessity for that kind of coupling won't be there anymore. You're already that connected with anybody you meet, any presence. You know, you already know them deeply and intimately. And if you choose to practice a more intimate exploration of one another, it goes to a whole new area than it ever did before. It's still grounded in the physical, of course, but it is so off the charts different because you're going into each little energy and aspect. You're conscious. You're dealing with the savory flavor. You're allowing passion. Instead of overwhelming you and taking you along, you're allowing it to demonstrate an experiential thing to you that you've never known before. This is something that we didn't even have in the beginning of time. This is something we've denied ourselves all through because it was the essential goal of it, but we couldn't get there to that kind of togetherness until we'd experienced the worst kinds of falling apart. It's just how it goes in the experiential realm. When we need experience, we do what we have to gain it. That's why we've chosen such a ruggedy and cold existence here, as it seems. But as you awaken, as this heart comes forward inside of you, you will realize how loving this place really is, despite all of its stupid tragedy and disharmony and all the pain that goes with it. You see, wow, there's an excitement in your spiritual soul, in your heart, that is completely joyful in every moment you live. Of course, it desires the experience. It is sometimes just overwhelmed by its own ability to endure the excruciating pain, the agony, the frustration, the anger, the burnout, all of this stuff. It's ripening you. It's allowing you to love in completely different ways, because now you know how completely out of hand it can get. So it's bringing you home to that beautiful heart inside, and it's teaching you what it is to be real love. So just focus on that, and that'll give you the peace you need to get through all these transitional phases, because, babies, the bottom has fallen out from under us. The old ways are the old ways, and they're not nowadays. They're gone, and they won't work. You keep trying, you keep flubbing up, The whole system fall apart if you do this, if you push the wrong way, you see. It's better just to back off, relax, get into your heart, and become a little more conscious as this energy comes up. And then you see the way to go, the new way to go, which ain't at all like the old. I mean, we will eliminate every industrial process here, all of the technology, everything that we've done superficially here that essentially harms the earth in some way or another for the benefit of humanity. That's the way it's been portrayed here. That's how we've lived it. Ain't necessarily so, and you're going to see that too. But this is why we can give up those processes and the economy that goes with them, because we more naturally grow into our creative source. We become those divine beings that we are, and we live in creative harmony with all that is. The lamb and the lion, hell yeah. Sitting side by side, nobody wants to eat anybody anymore. The cow and the human can finally be at peace too. And we can let go of eating of the beast, man, It's time we let go of all eating in a way. Just let it be a voluntary choice, and live on the energy that's real. Live on the energy that's life. Live on the energy that's love. But if you're like me, and I savor the flavor, and I love spicy food and stuff, it'd take me a bit to give it all up. But if angels come to me and says, hey, you got to go spend 80 days in the mountains. Hope they never do, but if they did, I'd just go willingly, and I wouldn't need food or water or nothing. I'd just be all right. You can live on energy when you're communing with spirit. When you're on a walk, you don't need anything. You've got everything, and you're being enhanced continually. That stuff just distracts you. And it's moments like that that demonstrate to me, well, in the practical real world, nobody has to starve to death, because the essential need that we experience as hunger is something else. And we are changing that as we go into these more loving states, and people will never experience hunger again. Not ever. It's just a need to fulfill an emptiness anyway that we've redirected in the way of food. Another way of containing the energy until we could come to a point of higher enlightenment, which we are now. See, so even such basic things as the 3 meals a day or whatever it is you do. I couldn't do 3 if I had to these days. 2 is plenty, and even that's too much. But I love the food, so I do it just for fun, you know. But I know the time's coming, we can just let it go and be at peace about it. And yeah, we'll have our feast once in a while, stuff like that. Because we enjoy that stuff. We enjoy partying. That's what we are, you know. But the necessity, the need for consumption of anything disappears. You won't need a house. You won't need a car. You won't need a truck to bring you groceries. Nothing, you know. It's all right there here with us, you know, and it goes with us wherever we go. And we create the protective circumstances that we need, or whatever it is, the accommodating circumstances that we need in any given moment in time, as we live in the more enlightened way and are able to recreate the entirety of our dynamic. I can see roads and highways and bridges disappearing. I can see the Garden of Eden. I can see the abundance of great loving life right here where we're living now, in place. An unpolluted world with completely clean waters, brilliant, beautiful, sparkling atmosphere, all life intertwined, interconnected, in love with itself, and so joyously happy to be alive and be able to experience themselves in the forms that they are. You see? That's us. That's you. That's me. That's our reality, babies. Don't let nothing keep you from it. And come on and hang out in the Coyote Den at night there at the Coyote Medicine Show, HeyZradio.com. HeyZradio.com. And click on the link to listen and chat. You'll have some fun. We do a little chatter in there too, in between while I'm playing some rock and roll. We'll chat a little bit, you know. But old Grandpa does. We and the gang, oh, the family is there, and we gang up on the earth in a loving way and help effect change. I got some excerpts. I'll pull them up. I'll get a few more of those videos up as my time expands a little bit, so I can get to those things, you know. I've had all kinds of technical difficulties with my video editors and cameras and stuff, and I've had to reconfigure a number of times now, but it's still working, and that's the beautiful part of it. I don't mind the little bit of hassle it takes to get us there. I so love you guys, and I so love this form of communication. I love doing the live shows too. I'll do another one soon. I just didn't get to it this weekend, too much on the plate. So maybe next weekend we'll do another one, you know, and heck, who knows, maybe even bring in a guest or two. We'll see what happens between now and then. But anyway, be looking for some radio show excerpts coming up real soon. You're going to love them. Unfortunately, I can't play the music that I play on the radio, on the videos, because of rights issues. So we'll just let that be that. But the words are very inspirational. But it's great to have the music to go with it too, because that kind of carries the energy and the flow and helps us assimilate it much more smoothly. This is going to be, despite all the predictions and all the doomsaying and all of the people that think it's done, a smooth transition for us all. Love would have it no other way. So just hang on to your green jeans. Don't be too concerned about what you see going on in the world around you, or even in your own family. In your heart, dream it right. It becomes so. Live your life to the fullest, and you'll find others wanting to do it too. Finding out how it is to do it, you see. And the only way to live a full life is not a fat bank account or a nice car or a good horse or anything like that. A good life is to have peace within yourself and be willing to share love and care with everyone. And know that you are doing that. And follow through on the activities that support that. Somebody needs a little help, you give it to them. If you know that's the right thing to do. You know, I mean, in these ways do we soften ourselves into the reality of our creative truth. You know, it's gently, but through kindness. Through a whole big lightening up in this world. And that is what is happening now. Everybody going to lighten up. This next month or so, phenomenal behavioral change. Because you're willing to open up from inside and see what's going on inside of you. and be a part of that greater love too. And the more that do this, the more settling it is for the entirety of this Mother Earth, all her inhabitants and all who live within and outside of her too, all around. We're affecting everything, babies. We do, with every breath, with every word, with every motion. We affect all of the existential reality. And it affects us too. It's a two-way street. Whew, babies, get in the flow, you'll know. Come party with me tonight on the Hazy Radio Network, midnight to 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, if you can take a little good old rock and roll and some pretty off-the-wall music too, and a little calming chat. Sometimes it's calming, sometimes it's a little shock jock, but it's always awesome, and it's always sweet energies arising, babies. Grandpa loves you, and I will see you next time. Keep it going, babies, and flow, and just flow. Remember, flow with the glow, man. Glow with the flow, flow with the glow. It shows you where to go. That's all you need to know. Love you, babies. Rock and roll.